Good morning. My name is Pat O'Brien. I thank everyone who's come here today. This spot has some importance for the campaign that I'm running as state's attorney, because a short time ago, the Chicago Police Department decided to try to crack down on open-air drug markets, and they ran a month-long sting in an attempt to do that and make the Austin neighborhood safer. There are a number of arrests that occurred, including at least 8, I think, for calculated drug conspiracy. And Superintendent Brown, in his statements on an earlier interview, said that particular charge carried a greater penalty than just a simple either possession with intent to deliver or deliveral. And he's right. It's a Class X felony where the mandatory prison time is 6 years or more. And what happened to the persons who were arrested that Superintendent Brown and the police department did such a fine job in trying to get drugs out of Austin? They went into bond court where the state's attorney's office, without objection, let those persons out, having signed their names, and in a turnstile form of justice, get back into the community without having to post any cash bond. I grew up and lived in Austin all of my life, not too far away from here. And I sympathize with the people in this community who are law-abiding and trying to raise their children and get back and forth to work and get their kids back and forth to school. They shouldn't have to put up with open-air drug markets run by criminals. They should be protected. And that's what the state's attorney is there for. Except this state's attorney, Kim Foxx, doesn't believe that people that commit crimes deserve to have any punishment. She feels that her policy of failing to have consequences for people that commit crime will somehow stop them or prevent them from committing crime in the future. And that's upside down. It doesn't make sense. And on November 3rd, and of course through early voting and mail-in voting, the people of this city and county have the ability to fire Kim Foxx. And I'm asking them to replace her, and I'm standing as state's attorney for that purpose. Now, Kim Foxx was given an invitation by ABC and the League of Women Voters to debate in an open forum later in this month. And just yesterday, she decided to reject that offer and not to debate, where the people who are voting could see and have her defend, if she could, her failed policies. She thought up with her public relations team a very clever way to portray that decision to duck the public debates. She thinks that somehow the public will buy that I am a Trump-like, I guess, politician who shouldn't stand on the same stage with her. That is, in effect, the very opposite of what was seen in 2 earlier editorial forums that I had with her, and editorial forums that were videotaped and were available to the public. And in editorials where the newspapers made no such comments about the content of the debate that we had before their boards. She is trying to defend what essentially is her failure to defend her policies by somehow thinking that the voters will see me as a Trump-like, I guess, person who interrupts her and essentially casts aspersions on her. All I do, and all I did before, was say that her policies have failed and pointed that out. She doesn't want to debate because she doesn't want to have to defend policies that are indefensible. This campaign is the most important and high-profile race in the state, and the voters deserve to see the substantial differences between myself and Ms. Foxx. I am ready and eager to debate Ms. Foxx on the record. WT2W has another debate that they've offered to hold, and I've agreed to that. Ms. Foxx at this point has not responded, but I'm of the belief that she'll use the same kind of phony excuse that she's used to duck the ABC debate. I've had a very long career in the legal profession as a prosecutor, as a defense attorney in criminal practice, and as a judge. And no one has ever questioned my temperament of my career until Ms. Foxx found it upon herself to have to sit at a debate table. If you look at the editorial board interviews, which are of public nature, you can see that she doesn't want to defend her policies, and she can't do it because the policies are indefensible. I would ask that Ms. Foxx change her position and debate so that the public can see the differences between us. If there are any questions?
He said that you engage in Trump-like name-calling and fear-mongering. Is that not true? What do you say to that specific charge?
Specifically, the videotape of those two forums are public, and they've been public for weeks. The last forum was over, I think, 12 or 13 days ago, and it's only after Ms. Foxx decided that somehow she wanted to not participate in this ABC debate that she felt she had to concoct a phony reason for it. If she felt that somehow there was any name calling that was inappropriate, and I don't believe that is the case. The last editorial forum was about 12 days ago, and if Ms. Foxx felt that there was anything inappropriate on our exchanges, she could have and should have, since the ABC debate invitation was out there at the time, indicated after those two editorial forums that she didn't want to debate. But instead, she waits until the presidential debate, which quite frankly was somewhat embarrassing, and then decides that it's in her best political interest and in the voters' worst interest not to have her policies challenged. If we look at all the murders that have occurred up until now, and there's been a 50% increase from this time to now versus last year, and shootings, which are close to 2,500, which again is an increase. If we look at the fact that she has dismissed 25,000 felony offenders during her 3.5 years, and of the 100 and more towns in Cook County, that would rank the population somewhat in the middle. So she's put criminals on the street, which essentially have more numbers than half of the towns in this county. She can't defend her policies, and she doesn't want to, and she just wants people to say, oh, she's a Democrat, I'm going to vote for her. I think voters are smarter. No matter who they vote for on the presidential ticket, I want them to come down that ballot and to mark my name. I'm a lifelong Democrat in the past. I'm running against her because she can't get another 4 years.
So as you mentioned, she brought this up after seeing the presidential debate. You called that embarrassing. Tell me more about that. As she compares you to Trump in that situation, what did you think about the way he handled that debate?
Well, I'll say this. I don't have to indicate in terms of the presidential race. I think it's separate from this race, which is local and very important. I felt that, as I think a number of people did, that you can't interrupt people when they're giving answers. And if she's indicating somehow I did that, the public record on both of the forums will show I didn't. As a matter of fact, she was interrupting me. And I would never, given that, say somehow I'm going to, skip this debate because Ms. Foxx interrupted me. That's nonsense. This is too important. She's concocted a reason. It's not the real reason. She hasn't charged people when they've been brought to her attention for felony charges. Once they've been brought to her attention, she dismisses the charges after they're filed. She doesn't bring people to trial. She loses more gun cases than she's won. She has been an abject failure. It's her policies that are a failure. I don't have any problem with Kim Foxx. She apparently is a very nice person, and I think that. But she's running for state's attorney for a second term, and we just can't have that in this county.
Just to clarify, what was embarrassing about the presidential debate?
I think when you're in a debate, people should be able to answer so that the issues can be before the voters. When people interrupt each other and talk over each other, it's impossible for the issues to be put forward. And that's the embarrassing part. A debate is a debate where the rules are followed, where everybody states their position, and the voters at the end of all this decide what policies they feel are in their interest.
When she says you are Trump-like, is that an insult?
I think it's a dodge. In other words, I've been a lifelong Democrat. I don't know Mr. Trump. I've never met him. When I ran for judge in 2006, I ran as a Democrat. So this whole thing about connecting me with the president, I'll just say, is her attempt to try to deflect from failed social policies. You can't stop crime by ignoring it, and that's her policy. Thank you all. I appreciate
Do
it.
you have a couple from my reporter on the phone? Is that all right?
Sure, go right ahead.
All right.
I'm not going to dodge his questions.
Good to hear. Okay, so the FOP has supported you and they held a rally a year ago in April against Kim Foxx. There were members of the Proud Boys organization at that rally. You denounced that particular organization, and would you turn away their support?
I'm against anybody that supports violence, and that probably includes the Proud Boys. I've been in the public, even though not as an elected official, for the past 45 years, whether as a prosecutor, as a defense attorney, or as a judge. I don't want people to resort to violence, and I don't want people to resort to racism. And if they favor racism, and if they speak like racists, I'm against them. I don't want their support. I'm running because this county has to come and basically put people who commit violent crimes in jail and separate them from the people that are law-abiding. People can't exercise their rights to go to school, to live safely in their houses, to go back and forth to work, to raise their kids. Anybody who promotes violence, I'm against them. And if I see it and I'm state's attorney, I'll take action against it.
How do you feel about the FOP with their support for you if they were with the Proud Boys?
Well, I don't know that they are, but if they are, I denounce that. My point is that I'm not going to be for people who either speak hate or who commit hate acts. I'm going to be out on the front lines. Everybody in this county deserves the right to be protected by the law. There's nobody above it, and there's nobody beneath its protections. I know that after all this election is done, we all have to come together. The only way for us to be safe and to function as a community is for everybody to understand we're interconnected. Thank you.